They stopped buying, not because the price tag fell, but because the meaning behind the price quietly unraveled. I want to explore 5 deep human reasons why some wealthy clients have stepped back from certain luxury houses. This isn't a list of brands, it's a map. The forces that make an object stop being desirable, even when it's still expensive, still scarce, still stamped with a logo. Listen as a story of value, identity, and trust. The things money can buy and the things it can't. There is a myth everyone believes that luxury is simply about price. Too many conversations end there. Sticker shock, resale graphs, they're overpriced. But price is only the surface. The real currency of luxury is narrative. When that story frays, the richest customers do something surprising. They stop showing up. They trade the familiar for something that feels truer, quieter, and importantly, more honest. Reason 1, the story no longer matches the object. For decades, the most expensive objects in fashion were prized because their story matched what they were. Decades of craft, a lineage of ateliers, an unbroken obsession with materials and finish. When that narrative starts to feel like marketing, polished, staged, hollow, buyers notice. Not because they read industry reports, but because luxury at its best is experiential. It's the feeling you get when you hold a garment and understand the hand that made it. When the craft becomes surface level, decorative stitching instead of structural tailoring, logos to mask weak materials, press narratives that outshine the product, the wealthy feel cheated. They don't merely stop buying one handbag or coat, they begin to question the integrity of the story the brand tells. And when trust in the story fades, the product becomes a commodity wearing a pretty wrapper. Reason 2, accessibility became its own antagonist. Luxury once relied on being difficult to access, long wait lists, invitation-only events, the thrill of having to ask. That scarcity signaled value, not just monetary, but cultural. But scarcity and exclusivity are fragile. When brands scale too quickly, flood the market with entry price pieces, or aggressively chase social metrics, exclusivity becomes accessibility. The product that was once a quiet mark of belonging becomes mass-consumed decor. For many wealthy buyers, the point of buying was never merely possession. It was belonging to a private language. When that language is taught on social platforms and replicated in thousands of knockoffs and influencer halls, the signal weakens. The object loses its role as a private language and becomes a loud advertisement. People with money don't want louder, they want rarer, truer, more private. Reason 3, a shift in moral accounting, ethics as a price tag. Wealth is not simply financial, it's moral capital. The modern luxury buyer is increasingly concerned with provenance, sustainability, and fairness. When brands fail to meet the moral ledger their customers expect, the cost isn't only consumer pushback, it's a withdrawal of cultural permission. This isn't about virtue signaling, it's about integrity. A customer who can afford a rare object wants to believe that their purchase doesn't endorse harm, rushed factories, opaque supply chains, or tokenized diversity. The wealthy have choices. They can direct their money where practices align with their values. When trust breaks in this moral dimension, the purchase stops being indulgence and instead becomes complicity. For many, that calculus ends the relationship. Reason 4, the emotional return was too small. Luxury is an emotional investment. Yes, you pay for fit and finish, but you also buy the feeling, the pride, the calm, the private confidence that comes from owning something made with taste. When the emotional return shrinks, when garments are unremarkable in wear, when leathers scratch too easily, when the silhouette that once felt heroic now feels generic, clients evaluate the transaction not by dollars per item, but by joy per wear. Wealthy buyers are unforgiving here. They measure the lifespan of pleasure. If a coat loses its drape by season 2, if a handbag sags, if a pair of shoes becomes tired after a handful of wears, the math fails. High price, low joy equals poor investment. That calculus pushes buyers away faster than any marketing campaign. Reason 5, cultural realignment. New codes, new clubs. Finally, style is social. The communities that confer status shift. Once there was a single language of aspirational taste. Today there are many. Quiet collectors prize heritage craft. Younger tastemakers prize authenticity, novelty, and cultural authorship. Creatives prize experimentation. Entrepreneurs prize subtlety and utility. When the cultural authorities a person trusts move, their buying habits follow. A once dominant brand can find itself mismatched to the new codes. Its archives now read as old-fashioned, its campaigns feel tone-deaf, its product ranges fail to answer the questions modern buyers ask. Wealth does not equal cultural inertia. The very richest often lead the shift. They turn away from brands before mass audiences do, quietly bringing along the rest of the market. What this means for brands and for the people who love them. If you're a brand that wants to keep your most discerning clients, this is not a crisis of marketing, it's a crisis of fidelity. Fidelity to craft, to truth, to ethical practice, and to meaningful scarcity. The remedies are not flashy. Invest sincerely in artisans, resist the irresistible lure of endless collaborations and quick drops, and keep the channels of influence private and human, not purely algorithmic. If you're a buyer, this change is a gift. It means the market will get cleaner. The old shorthand, logo equals value, is dissolving. What remains will be an economy of experiences. Private showings, meticulous repair services, pieces that age like the hands that made them. Practical questions that matter, not speculation. When wealthy buyers step back, they don't only stop shopping, they reallocate. They invest in smaller ateliers, they patronize makers who publish full supply chains. They buy by relationship instead of impulse. They are willing to pay more for honesty, but less for the illusion of heritage. For readers and collectors, the lesson is simple. Follow the craft, not the noise. A final reason people don't often name aloud: humility. There is humility in choosing less showy things. The wealthiest buy for comfort, for meaning, for history. They often seek things that reflect taste rather than wealth. As consumer culture fragments, true luxury re-centers on humility. Not in the sense of invisibility, but in the sense of restraint and purpose. That quiet return to values is what we see when wealthy clients turn away. This is not the end of luxury. It is a correction. Markets are cyclical, sensations pass, but the hunger that began luxury, for skill, for beauty, for objects that hold meaning, still exists. What is changing is the path to it. If brands rebuild with sincerity, if buyers seek truth over spectacle, then the next chapter will not be the death of luxury. It will be its refinement. If you want to talk about what this means for current collections, for how to evaluate a true investment piece, and for where to look next, there are honest, beautiful houses and small ateliers doing the work. We'll find them. We'll show you how to listen for the story that matches the object and how to spot when that story has been lost. Thank you for being here. If this conversation resonated, tell me which of these 5 reasons surprised you most and what you want us to unpack next.